Hey, all you Arizona lovers. This is the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose.
And I'm your producer, Brittany.
And here at Finding Arizona podcast, we collect the local stories of all entrepreneurs and from around the valley. So join us at findingarizonapodcast.com, where you can hear every episode and see it as well at
YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment below who you want to see next on our show. And when you're ready to start your podcast, you found the right spot. Found House, your next podcast production company.
Now, let's get back to the show. Score big with SeatGeek. Whether it's concerts, sports, or live events, SeatGeek has you covered. Use code FindingArizona to get a fantastic $20 discount on your SeatGeek tickets. Catch your favorite live events hassle-free with extra savings. Visit SeatGeek.com and make every experience unforgettable. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose. As always, we bring in special guests every week, and today is no different. I love to introduce Tom here, and Tom is going to be talking to us about a wonderful business that he is the co-founder behind and chief operating officer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to introduce you to Conquer Padel. Please welcome Tom and his business. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Jose. And it's Padel, right? So Conquer Padel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misread that. Sorry, I apologize.
So it's paddle in every other part of the world except the U.S. So it's spelled the same, but in the U.S. we're saying Padel to make it a little bit different because we have paddle tennis, we have paddle this, we have paddle that. So in the U.S. we're trying to change the asterisk from over the A to over the E. So,
nice. Wow. I love that.
I'll say paddle. You can say paddle. I try to say Padel, but either one.
Wonderful. And it's a wonderful way to also kind of start the conversation about what the business entails and what you're trying to differentiate from the other sports that kind of like we were bringing up that have paddle in the name or have paddle represented in the actual action of the sport. So let's get into it. Tom, what is Conquer and what do you guys provide?
So Conquer Padel we're building Padel clubs across the country through corporate clubs and through financing, through franchising.
Yeah.
And we're providing an indoor facility, kind of like, I don't want to use the word pickleball, but I come out of pickleball, or we just say pickle. But with all the new pickleball facilities across the country, we're just trying to kind of ride on that coattail a little bit. But pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the U.S., and everybody kind of knows that. If you don't know what pickleball is, I don't know if you're been off the couch.
Don't get me wrong. It is one of those sports that has increased in viewership, and as hard as it is for me to be like, I don't know what it is, or I don't care to know what it is, or anything like that. It has reached my eyes in so many ways, from just people of interest who are into it, and to just like actual shows being developed or being announced in development that kind of show pickleball in action.
Right. So that's pickleball in the U.S. and think about that globally for Padel.
Yeah.
So Padel is the fastest growing sport globally, just not in the U.S. yet.
Yes.
So about a year ago, for the last couple of years, I did a pickleball project up in Prescott, Arizona. We're probably one of the first indoor pickleball facilities in the country.
Wow.
We were raising capital for that in 2019, and then COVID happened, and that got all weird, and couldn't build out the model that we wanted to. I sold my family practice, investment practice, in 2020. I retired. I built a pickleball court in my backyard. I was coaching, I was playing, and I was talking to fellow pickleball investors, business people, saying, "What about this Padel? They're like, no, pickle. And it's like, well, okay, well, the revenue models are a little different. So I'm the finance guy, and look at how things money out, right?
Sure.
But with that, so it was about a year ago now. I was coaching out of a club in 51st Avenue in Bell Road. It's called the Pickleball Space.
Okay.
And they called me up on a Thursday afternoon at 1:00, and I'm just I'm coaching for the fun of it. I'm not coaching it to make money. Of course, they pay me, but they called me up and said, "Hey, there's a guy here that wants a lesson." I'm like,
Uh-huh.
can't you find anybody else? I really, I'm busy. And so anyway, I show up and I meet this guy.
Yeah.
His name's Enrique Gracia, which is
Okay.
now who is the CEO of Conquer Padel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we start chatting. I don't think we had a lesson really, but he was up from Mexico looking to bring clubs into Arizona.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, 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 you gotta talk to me. I'm the pickle guy, but I know what this is, and I know how different it is, and how different
Hmm.
it can be from a revenue standpoint for sure.
Yeah.
So we started down this journey about a year ago.
Okay.
I came on as a paid consultant and then transferred to ownership. Really, once that happened, though, I'm in it to grow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the sport has to need more courts. There's
Hmm. Hmm.
70,000 pickleball courts out there. There's about 6,000 Padel courts. There's 30 million Padel players playing globally, and the number's growing every day here,
Yeah.
but we need more courts. So
Yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona has, well, one. I say zero because that one court is in the guy's backyard. So so we have zero courts here. I've played quite a bit out of state.
Yeah.
So been to a lot of clubs out of state. So back to your question, Conquer is here to build clubs,
Awesome.
build clubs quickly
Yeah.
across the country, and especially here in Arizona because this is
Yeah.
where I live.
Yeah.
I'm in the West Valley, and we can't find locations. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest challenge in the sport itself is finding the correct locations,
Yeah.
because we need certain ceiling height, and then
For sure.
we need a certain demographic of age, population,
Yeah.
income. So
So let me go now into this paradigm of like, we're bringing up basically comes down to a size and like like you were saying courts. What I'd like to ask you is, can you give us the dimensioning for a pickleball versus uh, what you guys are providing, and just give us the, I guess, quick analysis of like, sizing and where one might be able to like, hey, look, like this is the difference between what you guys are playing on versus what we're playing on, and some of the kind of key components, because I know one of the key components is actual walls that are needed, and like you were saying, the height. So I'd
right.
love to kind of make sure that our audience knows those certain aspects into what goes into the game.
Sure. So a pickleball court itself is kind of like a tennis court where
Yeah.
it has lines.
Yes.
So those lines are 44 by 20,
Hmm.
but the actual area is normally 30 by 60.
Okay.
And a lot of them have fences around them
Yeah.
to keep the ball in and stuff. So 30 by 60. Our Padel court is actually 33 by 66. So
Okay.
very similar to a pickleball court,
Yep. Yep.
but just take that fence and put walls up.
Walls. Yes.
Okay. So everything is in meters.
Yeah.
So the back 2 meters of that wall system on the back end and across the complete back is glass.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So in between those sections is what they call fencing.
Yeah.
And then on top of the very back, and then they're 3 meters high.
Mhm.
So the glass is 3 meter, and then back wall has another. You see my hand?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Has another thing of fencing on top of it. So that's the court itself, and then the
Mhm.
court is mandated to have an 8 foot doorway at the fence at the net line.
Okay.
The net's a little bit higher. A pickleball net is 36 on the ends and 34 in the middle. A Padel net is like 36 in the middle, and I think it's 30 or 40 on the end. So a little bit higher
Okay.
than pickleball net.
Nice. So again, I say that to just kind of really identify that like the gameplay is different because of the conditions of the court. And so one of the things I also like to bring up from my own kind of background, what I do for a living when I'm not podcasting, I'm a landscape architect. And so one of the things that we get asked to do a lot in actually new communities and community residential areas is, some want, it's been a tennis kind of lifestyle for a very long time. And
Mhm.
now we're getting requests for different types of games for families and for communities to be put in, like pickleball, like cornhole, like beach volleyball, which is coming in a kind of a exponential kind of, some people like it, some people don't. But anyways, that being said, is like you are now starting to see an influx or an influence of individuals who are requesting different types of games for the areas that they commune around. And so that's something that I feel like has very much been a part of the United States influence, but also the international influence as well. So we've started to also recognize too, is like international play is just as important as our U.S. competition. And I'm pretty sure from your own understanding, it's like you've probably seen that as well. I mean, being introduced into Padel is like being introduced into this really cool club that's like has always had a lot of influence throughout the world, and it's just now becoming an open secret for us here in the US.
Yeah, so down in Miami, they had their first premier tournament. So
Nice.
the pro tournament for Padel hit Miami at the end of last month,
Okay.
and so we were down there for a couple weeks. We visited probably 20 different Padel clubs down there.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then we got to see the pros play, which is a different game than what we play. Same thing like pickleball. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what's that? You know, it's like, oh, that's really pickleball. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, very very fun to play. And then they had Racket X there, which was a
Oh,
racket conference, which
okay.
was squash,
Yeah.
pickleball, racquetball,
Yeah.
and then Padel. But Padel was one of the kind of the key type of things.
Yeah.
And not to boast about Conquer, but we've done a lot of PR work. Thanks for having me on your
That's
show. I should have
yeah,
said that off first.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
we got our first signed franchisees. We sold just
Nice.
four units. They should close next week. But
Beautiful.
they saw us at Racket X.
Yeah.
The guy said, "I saw you guys." Like, okay, so it's working.
Yes.
We hired a PR firm out of the UK,
Mhm.
Ben Nichols. It's called Paddle 22.
Nice.
He has an ear of paddle globally,
Yeah.
and now he's become a partner.
That's beautiful.
So we're bringing on a very good team. We call it the Dream Team. Two of the partners own clubs in Mexico.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
they have 50 courts in Mexico out of six clubs.
Yeah.
So they bring some knowledge to help us expand
Perfect.
and all that.
Well,
Um,
it's also like I love this, just from the sake of like, this isn't a US product that's trying to go international. It is an international product that is trying to make its way in and infiltrate into one single continent or country's circle or influence or whatever community. And I think that works better because you've already got the go ahead to, let's say, that Mexico group that is already down there. They need to travel, or they want to vacation, or they want to, go to a different court and test themselves. I think that is a beautiful way to work in unison and in a symbiotic relationship where it's like, hey, we have a sister club. It's in the US. It's in Arizona. You can just cross over the border. Let's see if we can get some good competition on that side and see what it looks like. And it's like this level of like, hey, we got the group. We got people who are interested. We already have the community. Let's help you out and like let's plug you in with this, great amazing community and group, and let's expand and be, copacetic and helping one another and trying to build something greater for the sport at large.
Yeah, so I'm from Arizona, born
Yeah.
and raised, and so I don't get out much, right? I think there's people that live outside of Arizona.
Yes.
I don't know why, but what was interesting to learn though, as I go through this journey,
Mhm.
that in other countries they look at the U.S. as when you guys do stuff, you do
Uh-huh.
it big.
Yeah.
You don't do anything
Spectacle.
small. Yeah, it's like crazy. So they're looking at Padel,
Yeah.
and we brought on two people, one out of Finland and one out of Spain
Mhm.
to join the
Yeah.
operational staff. but both of them are like, we want to go. I mean, we are getting interest from other
Beautiful.
Argentina down there, and then Spain, the
Yeah.
UK, and but people know in the US it's going to be big
Yeah.
because of what we do here. Like
Yeah.
nothing's small here. It's
Yeah.
always big here.
It's always
It's
yeah,
always,
spectacle.
always big. So I didn't know that. I'm like, really? I mean, yeah, you guys do it too big. So one of our partners, Lisa, when we first talked about one club, and I'm like, no, 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 we need to do this and do that. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
whoa, no, no, no. And then she
Slow it
finally
down.
realized, she goes, you guys, you US guys, you always do it big. I'm like, hey, do it big or go home. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those things.
exactly.
When you have it, you have it. Padel is where pickleball was in 2019.
Oh,
That's where it
okay.
is today in
Yes.
the U.S. And
Yes.
so
Okay.
I've lived that ride, and it's there. It's ready to
Yeah.
go. You just got to build courts. And so
Yes.
our
Okay.
goal is through the franchise model to build
It's beautiful.
50 clubs a year. So hopefully we get 50 open by 2026, and then 50 after that, and
Yeah.
so on.
I think the other aspect that we're also forgetting to kind of bring in and kind of really is a key component to where it's like that idea of location, 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 but on a grander scale. Where you rely or where you reside in Arizona, you have the border right there to Mexico that you're bringing in these international influence. Even across the Atlantic, you're bringing in influence. But the idea of like what makes this state, I feel like, is so unique and interesting is the fact that one of the things that brings up in conversation with other entrepreneurs, other people who are living here in the valley, is the fact that here there's a level of community over the competition rather than wanting to compete, compete, compete. They'd love to see more of like coming together and building something together. So this state in particular is a just a level of like beautiful blending, a mixture of different cultures and ideas, and love of different sports and different commodities of entertainment. I know from my own family, my brother is into RC cars, and there is a group of great RC enthusiasts here in the valley that's like they have their own groups, they have their own events, and it's just to me, it's like I've never really felt this same kind of level of like love of different influences in another place or a larger metropolis like Los Angeles or Chicago or Philadelphia or New York, where a lot of people love bringing together new people or new influences or new things, and it works. So I think the fact that you're here in this state and wanting to start something like this, where it's loved internationally, loved outside the U.S., but it's really starting to come up and really starting to gain more eyeballs onto it. It really shows that like we have a wonderful opportunity for growth and a wonderful opportunity for real momentum because you rely on a state that has that kind of access to international ports or international access in overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in Arizona. I'm not leaving,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's interesting going to other cities. They are
Hmm.
much larger. I
Hmm.
mean, and so the demographics are the density we don't have, and
Yeah.
then for us to build a club where there is density, it's very difficult to
Yeah.
find something to build into.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge with the landlords just to educate them on what Padel is. But Padel is a very and Pickleball says the same thing. So I mean, I've lived both worlds now. It's pretty
Yeah.
much the same conversation, but very social.
Yeah.
So very,
Yeah.
very social. So different back to the pickleball courts where they're one next to the other. You know, they're
Hmm.
just
Yep.
a
Yep.
fence and then another court, another court. Padel has to have room between the courts,
Oh.
probably like 12 feet in between the courts because there's an area outside the court that's in play.
Oh.
So if the
Okay.
ball is
Yeah.
hit outside the court, a player can run out of the court, get
Yes.
the ball
And
and
yeah, try
hit it back
it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you watch the videos, it's like us regular guys, not so much, but the pros all the time.
Yeah.
So because of that gapping in between the courts, like our Tempe spot will have 5 courts
Okay.
in 21,000 square feet. For pickleball, they'd want 10.
Okay.
Be-
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just because the revenue model is different.
Yeah.
But because of that social area, I mean, we'll have a bar and stuff like that, and all the clubs will have wellness with a sauna, with the
Yeah.
cold plunge locker rooms and all that cool stuff. But it's the community in
Mhm.
Mexico that's very very big. It's all about the community.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
people play, but it's developing a community of a place to go, a different place to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think also this is the last bit I'll bring up about like the uniqueness of what you do and the uniqueness of the court itself is and in an environment like this where the desert kind of it does get hot during the summers, the fact that it's relatively helpful to the fact that you have walls and stuff like that, but it's like more of an like indoor courts are kind of necessary. The real great part about this sport is the fact that it's like it works well in the valley because you have the space and unique opportunity of like this summer heat and how people want to be more indoors and have more unique experiences. It just really it kind of turns into this unique factor of like you guys have a real peak opportunity in these summer months to grow Padel.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're riding up on riding behind the wave of pickleball
Yeah,
because so there's a lot of indoor pickleball places
yeah,
here. A
yeah,
lot of my
yeah,
pickleball buddies said I will never play indoors. Pickleball is an outdoor sport. You know,
yeah.
it's outdoor. You have the wind, you have the
Mhm.
heat, you have the sun, you have all this stuff going on. But once they start playing indoors, they go, I'll never play outdoors again because you don't have any of those factors.
Yeah,
But it is nice to be outside in the wintertime and stuff like that.
yeah.
So we do at some point. I can show you a little video. We do have I call it an open air model. So
Okay,
it's a
okay, yeah,
fully covered model that is all open air,
yeah.
and we're
Let's take a
going to
look.
build this in the city of Surprise, and we're looking. There's another project. I got a lot of projects going on, but
Totally,
I can
totally okay. Hey,
I can
while you're setting this up, I'd love to just really quickly get into your really quick history on like how pickle or first it was pickleball, but like how these sports came into your life because we didn't really get into it. And I really would love to just kind of
Oh, sure.
ask you really quick of like, were you always a sports guy? Was, what made the pickleball then into Padel, just something that was like right up your alley sort of deal?
So definitely always a sports guy.
Mhm.
I have two kids. They're older now, 44 and something else. But so I always coach sports, always want to be involved in sports,
Yeah.
but I was in the finance world. So
Okay. Yeah.
with pickleball, I kind of knew about it back in 2019-ish or so, but my buddy up in Prescott, he says, "Hey Tom, I'm going to raise some money to build this cool pickleball place."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, how's that going to go?" He says, "Well, I'm going to ask people to write me a check." I'm like, "Whoa, wait a second, Jimmy. No one's going to write you a check. They're not just going to give you money. You have to structure that." So we
Yeah.
formed a 506 C offering
Yeah.
that we raised capital for. We
Sure.
raised capital across the country to build a facility up there. So my introduction to pickleball was that.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
fact,
Got it.
well, when I had an office up in Prescott and then down here in the Valley, but I was up there and some guy said, "Hey, you want to play some pickleball?" I said, "Yeah, I've never played before." He says,
Yeah.
"Well, there's a court at a guy's house." I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Okay, cool." So
Yeah.
we drive up there and it's like, okay, I see the house, but where's the court? I mean, I see the court, but where's the house? So the guy, he built his court first and then built the house. And that was Jim Thomas. That's the guy that I'm just talking about. I'm like, so he's a pickleball guy. Pickleball,
He's
pickleball,
a
pickleball.
legitimate pickleball guy. Like that's a level of commitment where it's like, yeah, I just sleep on the court sometimes. Like,
So we went traveling around the country to these tournaments. I wasn't playing. He was playing. I was watching the spectator part of it.
okay. Okay.
Because for a sport to really become a sport, it needs a spectator
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
Because so a lot of people are playing, but now pickleball, like you see, it's being spectated
Yeah.
somewhat,
Yeah.
right? So it is growing that way. So that was my entry into pickleball, and then when that project got done, and I sold my practice and
Mhm.
retired, right? Um, I built a court in my backyard. So
Okay.
then I
Okay.
so then I was playing a lot, and then I started coaching and just playing and playing and have fun. And then I told you the story of Padel, how
Yeah.
I met in Enrique,
Yeah.
and
That's it. Wow. That's
here
awesome.
here we are, right?
Yeah. I love it. let's
I'm
take
with
a
you
look
there.
at the rendering. Yeah,
Yeah,
give us a little breakdown as we fly through and work our way through it. Oh, this is beautiful.
so it's just a metal structure,
Yeah,
and then we use containers for the inside.
it's
Wow, it's really
beautiful.
loud.
Oh, I can't hear it, so it's if you want to.
Oh, okay.
But I love this is really really cool. Like for those who are watching or going to be witness to this, as a landscape architect, I love the little fluted structure of greens right there in the cafe area. Like that structure itself is in alone like is beauty, and it's got a everything really works well together with the different materials that you're using, from the actual containers, the metal, to your metal work and concrete work in the seating. The vines is a very good way to get all of this kind of indoor outdoor experience to kind of connect through for those who are going to be going here. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I can. And then there's some pickleball outside. Sorry, I thought I pulled up the shorter version.
Oh no, you're fine.
Um,
I love
okay.
this. I love this fly through. I think
Yeah.
having man, the way that you've kind of laid the courts out is really going to be fun to kind of like
So
see
there's the
everyone in it.
gapping. Yeah, so here's
Yeah.
the gapping in between the courts, and
Yeah.
and so this model, we just finishing up a deal with the city of Surprise to put this in their new city center. Should
Cool.
be opened in 2027 by spring
Awesome.
training of 2027. So very very excited about this because I think in Arizona this model still works. It's kind of like the Churchill downtown if you've been
Yeah.
there.
Well, not
So
only have I been there, so we've done an interview with the owner, and Kel has now become a really good friend of mine. He he and I have hung out more than once, and I love his thought process. Meeting with him and learning his how he went through the city of Phoenix and how he had to kind of indelibly endear himself to those community members, and being part of that community and wanting to put in this because the structure itself was different. It's changed multiple times over the
yeah,
years
Churchill. Yeah,
to get it to where it's at today. And so, kudos to everyone who made the Churchill happen. But I
yeah,
think this is another level of like this is another level. Like you take the Churchill, and then this is a step up from that because you're
yeah.
installing more, a sports base. You're adding something, another element that is really unique to the experience.
Yeah, and I'll show you two more things while we're
Sure,
here. So
let's do
so
it.
this is the indoor model. This is not Tempe. This will be on 33rd Avenue I'm sorry, Central and Pinnacle Peak, 33 East Pinnacle Peak or something like that.
Nice.
So that's the building. So these are the types of buildings that we're going into.
Yeah.
And then
And
the
we've seen
inside.
this one in particular that is going into that Pinnacle Peak. We've seen, if you're passing by on a freeway or a highway, you've seen these buildings. They've come. Well, I
This is
mean,
a
you
little
can
bit
see.
further off the highway, but,
Yeah,
but this is a regular industrial building. But
yeah,
this is our model. So this is
I
our
love it.
franchise model. Same thing with the greenery in there, with those fluted trees, and so you can see the core. It's all the in between. What's been challenging, and we have probably 15 LOIs out now across the country for real estate.
Hmm.
We are working on 8 clubs in the valley
Hmm.
ourselves here,
Yeah.
and then franchisees across the country. But real estate is tough. It's tough to
Oh
to
yeah.
to, to get out there. So we want to be out there first.
Yeah, for
So I
sure.
bring pins in the sand around that. But
Yeah.
um,
So
yeah, just
tell me a little bit about some of these images that you're kind of bringing to us and how you worked with the design team to develop these. I mean, what was your, I guess, collaborative experience like, and kind of what you were looking for as far as the tone of these models? Like, what
sure.
were some of the things that you brought to the table and told them that you were looking for?
So I worked with a lot of business owners across my years. And Enrique Gracia is one of the best business owners I've ever worked with because he kind of gets it from the get-go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we built this as a franchise brand. We didn't have a club and said, "Oh, let's go franchise it," because running a business and running a franchise are two totally different things.
Yeah.
You can't flip burgers in the daytime and run a and be a franchisor at night. You have to do one or the other, or at least have a focus. So we have two different companies, but from the get go, Enrique's been very particular about building a brand book. I think we had a brand book, 30 days out. We built he. I'm gonna give him credit, but between him and me, we came up with the Conquer name. I think he did. I said that's amazing. It has strength. It has all these things. I've done a lot of branding in the past, and then the logo is actually a couple C's and a P there. So if you can see it around the ball, it wasn't created that way, but it looks like the Philadelphia Flyers too a little bit, but not. But so
I love the branding. I think it's again when it comes to these certain elements of like, everything counts, and it's like the little details. What you brought up to the C and the P together in this logo, it's something that is iconic, and also you just get it. And I think one of the other aspects too is your color branding too is really unique. That turquoise is something that is more uniquely found here in Arizona and in New Mexico. So having that as a color palette is really, I think, is cool and unique.
So we were all black and gold. That was our color palette to begin with, and we just needed a color. So that's not turquoise.
Yeah.
That's Conquer Blue.
Oh, nice. You got your own, like, I love that answer. Like, or I love that color name. It makes so much sense.
So that's our color palette. I mean, we have other, again, Enrique built it the right way. He took the time to do the details. So if I'm speaking to any other business owner, if you want to do it right, you have to do it right from the beginning. From the financial aspect, for me, building brands or helping business owners, if you have to build it like you're going to sell it tomorrow too. So you have to understand how to monetize it from the get-go, and it's not using piece of paper to put stuff on. So from the get-go, to have good books and records, you have to explain how you make money, not that you make a lot of money. So how is that? So again, but back to the branding, this floating ceiling it's actually going to be metal. I think this is more like a wood looking thing, but same color palette. But we're getting that built out in Mexico. The slats around the bar, all the millwork, every place will look similar. We want to be the McDonald's / Nordstrom. But when you walk into a facility, not only will the person not greet you from behind the desk, they will be out in front of the desk greeting people, knowing people, trying to build that community, not a check-in. So little pieces like that make a difference. And again, that goes back to your core values as a company. So community first is what we say.
Well, I love what you're bringing to the table, and I love the fact that you have started at the right places, like from just your locations to the commitment to your fundamental goals and the value that you have towards what you're trying to build here. All of those elements, I feel like, are all key components to a long, thriving business, and I think you guys are going to do just fine. As we kind of approach kind of the level of like when I get to this end conversation, it goes towards more goal setting, and it goes towards more of what you're seeking out from our audience, and kind of having us being able to have this open dialogue of like, what are you trying to commit to or for a goal in the next couple of years? What can our audience do to help you out and make those dreams come alive?
So we are out franchising. Anybody want to own a club? We're here to help you. I mean, we have systems, we have the operational capacity to help people and grow the sport that way. Even in our Phoenix market, we have people looking at clubs here that we are looking to open corporately, but we are willing to give to a franchise too. And then we are out for a capital raise to build our corporate clubs. So we have a $15 million capital raise to build.
That's crazy.
7 clubs. So most clubs cost between it's about 1 million to 2 million to build a club, depending on
Yeah.
what the terms are.
Yeah.
But that outdoor model is a $4 million model, so we hope City of Surprise helps us with that.
Yeah.
I do want to share one more picture with
For
you.
sure. Let's do it.
This is the most exciting thing we think is going to happen. Um,
Because
this
you're,
right.
if just to be openly transparent, just from your website, you have as a coming soon. Oh man, that is.
So we
Oh,
are
that.
working with there's an RFP for the city of Tempe. Um, and we've already talked to them. They said just go through the process. We want you to
Mhm.
go through the process, but this would be on Tempe Town Lake.
Oh,
They're trying to activate some places around the lake. So we're working with a gentleman out of Finland that builds these floating platforms,
mhm.
and he's building one right now in the UK, and I think he has another one I think in Finland, but he's going to joint venture with us on this project. We think we have a very good shot to get this done at Tempe Town Lake. Um,
I'll tell you one thing.
so
If
excited about this.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for these conversations with the city of Tempe. And I think it's a wonderful, beautiful model, and I think it's really well done. And I hope it happens. That is
So we
awesome.
we need investors.
Yes.
There's my pitch, right? Okay.
Yeah. Here's the
Un,
here's the
unshare
spiel.
me. Yeah, there's a lot happening. We have an
Yeah.
NFL group coming at us. It's Jose, when you buy a red car,
Yeah.
what color cars you see? You only see red cars.
Red.
Like, oh, I
Yep.
thought I had the only red car. So paddle getting into it is like all you hear about is paddle.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz, a comedian that's on Rogan's show a lot. He was on
Yeah.
there about a month ago. Yeah, look it up and listen to this guy. He's going off. We're trying to work with his agent to become an ambassador for us, but he just goes
Uh,
off on paddle how great this
nice.
thing is. And Rogan's like, "What is this sport?" So anyway, as it gets exposed more, we're out to do that. And
Yeah.
and yeah, anybody that wants to inquire and learn more about us or how to
Beautiful.
get involved when we're opening, yeah, go to the W's conquerpadel.com. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it because I mean, you've given us so many things to kind of dive deep on or dive deeper on. And it's really great from what you guys have as potential upcoming events or upcoming openings to, franchisees to your actual branding of your clubwear. It's really kind of this has all the makings of like real potential groundbreaking, like megastar coming into the world, things that are you guys are trying to do here. And so I have high hopes for you. I have no doubt that based on what you guys believe in and what you guys are bringing to the table as your core values, I have no doubt that there's going to be growth on an exponential scale, and I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's going to be great to see you guys come up and see what you bring to the
Headquartered
valley.
in Arizona.
Yes,
Arizona.
absolutely,
We're not
absolutely.
going anywhere.
And it's just again, your website is like showing like 5 location possibilities just here in Arizona, but also
Yeah.
many more across the U.S. And man, I'm excited because again, if when it does happen, if that Tempe Town Lake one I want to be there for the
We want
Scissors
to have
Cup.
everybody
Yeah,
there. We
I
want
want
everybody there
to.
for the. So Tempe is on Elliott and Elliott and Priest,
Yeah,
right there across from Costco.
yeah,
We'll have a grand opening. We'll make sure that you know when
yeah.
that date
I'd
is
love
and stuff
to.
like that.
Thank
And
you.
we want everybody there. So
Yeah,
come and play. We'll have some players out of country players be the best players in the world, but
yeah.
we may not know them. And if you speak English or speak Spanish, that's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
Because I
you.
don't. Because I don't.
Hey, you have all of your other your your co-founders that'll be able to
Yeah,
back you up and help you out there.
they
And
do.
so
Thank you.
that being said, we do end our conversation with you, the founder and co-founder, just to like let us know where we can find you online. Again, give us all your social media handles, all of your websites, any big events that you want to just throw out there for people to go check out. But the floor is yours, Tom. Go right ahead.
Okay. So yeah, conquerpadel.com. That's the one I know.
Yeah.
If you could help me on the other ones, that'd be awesome. But
I
we
think
are
everything, if you
Instagram,
go to
YouTube. Yes.
Conquer Padel, all of the social media handles are way at They're down at the bottom. You can click on. They got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So conquerpadel.club.
Follow us. Yeah. Follow us. And there's buttons on there for franchise and the button on there for invest. So click on those. There's, awesome. You get more info on that stuff. But man, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you for being so open and available, and just being so passionate about what this is. And to me, like, when you share that passion, it bleeds right through, and people are more than amped to want to join in and be a part of the community. So that's what this is all about. We do have an outro for ourselves. You can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. Social media wise, Finding Arizona Podcast under everything. And last but not least, we end every conversation with the kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our four-legged friends, and we will see you next time.